Hello, and welcome to the Gamer's Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and today we're going to be talking about British Square. British Square is a game manufactured by Gabriel Games in 1978. It's for 2 players, runs for about 20 minutes of game time, and is rated for ages 8 and up. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we? The term British Square came from 19th century military history. This defensive infantry formation symbolized all that was English: doggedness, tenacity, and the will to win. When Napoleon met Wellington at Waterloo, he faced regiments of British soldiers drawn up in virtual impenetrable squares, 50 men across. Front-line soldiers fired, then withdrew. Second-line soldiers followed suit, and then the third line. Officers controlled and directed the unit from the square's center. You know the rest of the story. Napoleon lost. Now you get to be a battlefield strategist and deploy your regiments in classic British squares. Mass your manpower to win the day using the same tactics that forged the British Empire in the white heat of the 19th century. This game does come with multiple pieces. It comes with the British Square board, 22 pieces, 11 in red, 11 in blue, and 2 scoring pads, again, 1 in red and 1 in blue. To set up this game, choose a color. Red goes first. Players should take turns going first after each round. The object of this game is to place the greatest number of your pieces on the board. The game is played in rounds. The first player to score 7 points wins the game. The first player may place their piece anywhere on the board except the center square on their first move. The second player may place their pieces on any square, including the center square, so long as its side is not facing their opponent's piece. Blue pieces may not be placed on spaces marked with an X if the center is where the red piece was put down first. A player may place any of their own pieces next to each other. This is an example I do need to talk about. As we see here, the white arrow, the red piece indicated is correctly placed. Players may place pieces next to each other as long as there's not an opposing piece. As we can see from the dark arrow, the blue player placed a piece next to one of its pieces, which would be fine, but in this particular instance, it's also facing an opposing piece, which is something you cannot do. Players continue until no more moves are possible. If red can no longer move, blue may still put pieces down and vice versa. After each round is played, players count their pieces on the board. The difference is totaled and the point value given to the player with the greater number of pieces on the board. That player pegs their score onto the scoreboard. For example, if a player has 10 pieces and their opponent has 8, the player with 10 pieces receives 2 points. The first player to score 7 points wins British Square. Well, this has been an overview of British Square. British Square, I think, is a really good strategy game. It's a little on the simplistic side, which is nice, but it doesn't have a lot of rules to beat you down with it. I think it's very easy to pick up, very easy to learn, very easy to play. I would say this is a introductory strategy game. It's very kid-friendly. I think kids should have a good time with this. It's a good way to get them into more advanced games. And I would say it's a really good way to get them to start thinking strategically in gaming. The game itself goes online for about 20 bucks. It's relatively easy to find. I would say as a family game night with your kids, it's a really good option. Like I said, it's a 2-player game, but I think it would work out really well. If you want a game night with a friend, I would say it's a really good option too. It's a nice change of pace from some of the heavier war games that are out there, and it's a little on the simplistic side, which sometimes is really, really nice. It doesn't have too much involved with it, and I think it's a very well-built game. If you haven't played British Square before, I would recommend taking a look at it. Like I said, it's a little on the simplistic side, so It doesn't have a lot of working parts. I mean, it's very easy to pick up and very easy to play. So if you haven't played British Square before, I would recommend taking a look at it, and I would recommend playing this game. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamers Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on British Square from Gabriel Games. If there's a game in the future you'd like us to review or go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.